Welcome to the Data Hall YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to look into how do we create business calendars in Stata and what are different advantages of having a business calendar rather than having the simple date variable. So let's load a data set that I have been using for past couple of videos. We have our symbol, date, stock return, and S&P 500 return. We have different symbols. So this is the panel data. We have General Electric, Apple, Microsoft, GM. Okay, so let's do XT set or TS set and set this data as panel data. So if you are familiar with this, whenever you work with panel data, you would have to tell Stata that this is my panel variable and this is my date variable. So we know that panel information is in the symbol variable and the date information is in the date variable. So we have already done the setting. Now let's generate a lag. And this is what I have also discussed in a previous video, how to generate lag and what issues do we face with lag. Okay, so if I generate a lag, I would see that there are 2620 values missing, and the reason is that if you look at the lag for the 5th January, the lag would be that stock return of the 4th January. So this is what we get as lag. For the 6th January, we should get this value as a lag value. For 7th, we should get the lag value from the 6th of January, right? But 8th and 9th of January are the holidays. They are Saturday and Sunday. So obviously we have a gap, and then we have 10th of January. So what Stata would do is, as we discussed in previous video, that because there is no 9th of January, it do not have anything to take lag off. So it would return a missing value, and that is not correct, because when we are working with stock returns or business data, then we have business holidays, and we want Stata to take into account those business holidays. So for 10th of January, the previous day should be 7th of January, the day before the holidays. So how do we solve this? We can solve this using business calendar or the concept that we discussed in our previous video. So business calendars would look similar to this date variable, but internally they would have a different structure, and they would be able to deal with different issues of business dates. So how do we generate business calendar? So first we are generating a business calendar as a variable. So we use bcall. This is the command, the bcall create, this whole 2-word command. So we are going to create a calendar, and let's give it a name. Let's call it S&P 500 1. So I am going to create 2 calendars. So I'm going to give it a numerical serial number. Then where should this calendar be created? It should be created from the date variable. So we have this date variable. So we want this calendar to be created from the date variable. And I want to generate a new variable over here that should be called new date. Okay, so this new variable is generated. It looks exactly similar, but they do have different internal structures, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate using this TS set command. So instead of setting this panel data using symbol and date, and let's use the new date that we have created. So this calendar had been, this panel that had been set. Now what if we create again this log? How should we expect this log value? Now we would see that for the 10th of January, where it returned a missing value when we used simple date variable, because the calendar date, business calendar would recognize that these were the holidays, so it would return the value from 7th of January, right? So you can see that when you click on the new date from the properties window, you can see it have this TB, which stands for business calendars, right? So what business calendar is basically doing is it took this date variable, and wherever there was gap, right, gaps in the variable, it considered those gaps as holidays. So it created an internal structure. We can create a business calendar by our own rather than taking it from the date variable, and that is what we are going to discuss in our next video. But let me show you how this business calendar would look like. So whenever we create business calendar, it would be created within our current directory. So it is a text file, sort of text file, and it would have some different commands, right? So this is the range of the data, which days are omitted, right? So these are different commands that it generated. We would look into these commands in our next video related. It would also be related to business calendar, but in this case, in this video, we are generating business calendar from a current date variable. In our next video, we are going to look into how do we take these commands and create business calendar manually, right? Okay. So we can also use menus. We click on data, other utilities, and we have create business calendar or manage business calendars. We can create a new business calendar, or we can manage the current business calendars that we have, right? Okay, so let's clear everything, and let me show you another concept related to business calendars. We can create a business calendar as a separate file, and the reason for this is, see, the current way, what we did is we created a business calendar variable. But what if we always work with S&P 500 and we always have to create this business calendar each time? And we do not want that to happen, or we created a business calendar manually and we want to use that business calendar each time we work with S&P 500 data. So the ideal way would be to create a separate file, a file similar to this one, and we always use that file. So how do we create? We again use business calendar create S&P 500 2 from date. So instead of using generate, we are just creating a business calendar. So first let's load this data, right? Okay, so this is what we get, some information. What is the purpose? We didn't give any purpose. What is the range? What are the omitted days, included days, etc. Okay. But if we check business calendar, what is the current business calendar in our memory? That is what we check from B call check. It would say that no business calendar is used, or no variable uses TB. Remember, TB format is the business calendar format. So if there is no TB format, then that means there is no business calendar. And if we generate this lag, we again see the similar issue that we had to face before business calendars. So what we are going to do is we first have to load a business calendar. So any calendar that we had created a few days or in our previous project a few days ago, or someone shared that business calendar with us that was created manually or through some process, we can simply load that business calendar. So I just created it for demonstration purpose, but you might get it from somewhere else. So business calendar load, and we give the name of the calendar. We would have to save that file in our current directory to use this command. So B call load and name, and it would load that business calendar. It would give us a bunch of code, but that is not to worry about. But it wouldn't generate any calendar. And if we again were to generate a variable, or we want to check whether there is a calendar or not, it would again give the same message, which is no variable uses, that is, there is no business calendar. But we just loaded a business calendar, and the reason is that we can load a business calendar, but for it to work, we would have to generate a business calendar. So we use gen, let's call it any name, we call it S&P calendar. And how do we generate this? We use BOFD function, which is for business calendars, and we tell it the name of the business calendar that we just loaded within inverted commas, and then from where should it take the dates and convert it into a business calendar. That is the date variable, right? Okay, so it is generated. but the current business calendar won't look any human readable format. But we can format that generated variable using the format of the business calendar that we have. So that would be TB S&P 500 _ 2. That is the business calendar that we are using. So now the format looks great. We can TS set symbol and the calendar that we just created, and then we can create a lag, right? So now we get exactly the same lag that we got before. We can check the directories of business calendars, right? So currently we just have two business calendars loaded, that is S&P 500 1 and 2, and they are in the current directory. And we can also describe a calendar which would give us certain information regarding these calendars. So thanks for watching this video. Do subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon. And if you have any query, do ask that in the comment box below.